Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. So Cat on a Hot Tin Roof came out in 1958 and was directed by Richard Brooks, and this film is based on a stage play by Tennessee Williams. So this film is about this couple called Brick and Maggie, who are played by Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor. And Brick is a sports writer, and right at the start of this film we see him trying to recapture some of his youth from his high school days, back when he was good at sports, and he's trying to jump over some hurdles at this field, but unfortunately he ends up injuring himself and so has to stay at home quite a lot of the time. Because of this, he ends up being quite depressed and becoming an alcoholic, and this really puts a strain on his relationship with Maggie, who is played by Elizabeth Taylor. We're then introduced to a character called Big Daddy, who is Brick's father, and he unfortunately has cancer, and yes, unfortunately we've just heard that he will be dying soon, or that he really doesn't have much long to live, and when he does die he will pass on his big estate to his son. That is the idea, but unfortunately Brick and Maggie, they don't have any kids, so they need to produce an heir essentially to this estate. However, we also do have another son who is known as Gooper, and we see him and his wife as well. And Gooper as a character is really different to Brick, because Gooper is a lawyer and he has 5 kids of his own. He's essentially grown up idolising his father and doing what his father said. We really see in this film the relationship between these two brothers, and the relationship between them and their father. And the father character, Big Daddy, he obviously really favours Brick as a son, even though Gooper has done everything his father has said and he has 5 kids. Although Gooper really seems to have done those things for the wrong reasons. He doesn't really seem to have done them because he wants to. It's almost as though he's done those things because he wants to inherit this vast estate and he wants to take after his father. We also have the character of Gooper's wife as well, who is perhaps not a very likeable character, as she always seems to be screaming quite a lot and making things worse when we have these interactions between the characters. So obviously, as I said earlier, this is based on the stage play by Tennessee Williams, and as you can expect, this is a drama, and it's quite similar to films like A Streetcar Named Desire and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which were obviously based on stage plays as well. And it's very obvious when watching this film that it is based on a stage play, because most of it is just set inside in these rooms. Lots of dialogue between these characters, lots of interactions, lots of arguments, and lots of ups and downs with these conversations. And this film is all about the drama. It's all about the relationship between these characters and how their relationships are put to the test, particularly with Big Daddy's 65th birthday. All these discussions about what is going to happen with his health and what is going to happen afterwards. And we really see the relationship between Big Daddy and his sons, and also between Maggie and Brick. And it's just these discussions between these different characters which help push the story forward and really what the story is about. I have to say, as an actor, I think Paul Newman is one of my favourite actors of all time. I love him in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Cool Hand Luke, and The Hustler, and in this film he's particularly excellent. He really does give a great performance. Even though he's quite miserable in this film, he's quite depressed quite a lot of the time and doesn't seem particularly happy, he still manages to come across as quite likeable and also quite charismatic as well in the way that he does. Also, Elizabeth Taylor is absolutely wonderful as well in this role. She really provides a bit of a contrast to Paul Newman's character, and especially as the film goes on, she certainly has a lot more to say throughout this film. One of the stars of the film is Burl Ives as Big Daddy. He's a very big, hefty fella, and although he seems to be drinking quite a lot throughout this film, it's almost his situation and his role in the film which helps drive the film forward, because a lot of the discussions in this film are about his role in the family and about what could possibly happen when he passes away, which in some sense is obviously a bit depressing, but it's just to do with his cancer, obviously because of his health. There's a lot of uncertainty up in the air. What was interesting is that Burl Ives actually won an Oscar this same year, but not for this film. It was in another film called The Big Country, and yeah, if I'm honest, he probably deserved to win an Oscar for this film because he's absolutely excellent. And I wasn't really familiar with Burl Ives at all. I know he did Christmas songs and things like that, but as an actor, I wasn't really aware that he did many films. But after seeing him in this, yeah, gotta say I was very impressed. So if I was to say anything particularly bad about this film, it did take me quite a while to get interested in it. And I did find that the way that the characters were introduced, it often happened a little bit too quickly for my liking. There wasn't much build-up. In a lot of films, when characters are talking about things, we do tend to get introduced to them and we get some build-up in the situation. And there are certain characters that are talked about quite quickly, although obviously, because the characters already know them, but we as the audience don't. And there's this character called Skipper, who often floats about quite a lot and is quite relevant to the story. Yeah, we hear about him quite a lot, so you really need to focus on what the characters are saying in this film. But if you like these kind of films, then that probably won't be a problem. It's probably just because these types of dramas based on these stage plays, they're not always the kind of films that I'm particularly interested in or that I always want to watch. But for what it is, I can certainly appreciate it, and I think it is an excellent film with terrific performances. And with a film like this, obviously you want there to be good performances because, you know, this film doesn't rely on special effects or action scenes or, you know, cinematography or lighting and things like that. It really is sort of about the acting and the performances. And with Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor obviously being two of the best actors of all time, I suppose, so they suit this film perfectly. So if I was to compare this film to other films, obviously I mentioned something like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which always had Elizabeth Taylor. I don't think I like it quite as much as that, because I think Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf has quite a lot more tension in it and, yeah, a lot more build up to these characters, and also it has more memorable interactions. And also something like A Streetcar Named Desire, I think is an excellent film, and I don't think the performances in this are quite as good as that film. This is still an excellent film, and I think if you like those two films, this is definitely something you will appreciate. So overall, I'm going to give A Cat on a Hot Tin Roof a rating of 8 out of 10. So definitely check this film out if you like dramas about the relationships between characters, and if you enjoy stage plays and, you know, good theatrical performances. So there we go. So that is my review of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. So what do you guys think? Have you seen Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.